So this year 2021 was a really good year for the Chainsaw Man fans, especially with the release of the anime trailer. And not just that, when we thought the manga was going to end, the author of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto, just announced that there will be a sequel, a kind of part 2 of the manga. That is not the end of it, since the author just recently published a one-shot manga, and that will be 140 pages long. So in this video, just as the title and thumbnail suggests, I'll be talking about this new one shot and the future of Chainsaw Man as a manga. Basically just highlighting what the sequel or the part 2 of the manga might be about. So if you're interested in knowing further, make sure to stick around, and if you end up enjoying this video, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video cause it helps quite a bit with the algorithm. In any case, let's jump into it. Meanwhile, the Chainsaw Man trailer is getting millions of views, and that there are a lot of Chainsaw Man fans, especially the manga fans, waiting for a sequel or a spin-off from the manga series. This one shot that is published will not serve that purpose. However, this one shot is about two manga artists, Fujino and Kyomoto. Both students are in 4th grade. One of them, Fujino, is a star of the class due to her awesome art style. Meanwhile, Kyomoto is just trying really hard to draw something nice. Both of them are kind of intertwined by destiny, and a bunch of things will happen making them to work together, but that won't last for long since something tragic will happen. I won't say much about this one shot so as to avoid spoiling you. If you're interested in reading it, I highly recommend you guys to check it in the Manga Plus app. I will leave the link in the description, and you can also follow my socials in the description to get any update on manga related content. A lot of you might be wondering why this one shot, what is the purpose behind it, and I think this is not the first time he does write one. He wrote a few of them already. This one shot might also act as a stepping stone to the upcoming part 2 of the manga to kind of prepare us to the new story that Chainsaw Man will uphold. Because as you might know, the author of Chainsaw Man, Fujimoto sensei, corroborated that he wants to change the interpretation of his series. He wants to change the tone, he wants to change the pace and the feeling, the vibe behind it. There's a particular one shot that he wrote back in 2015, and that one shot was called Yogen No Nayuta, or Nayuta the Prophecy. Why I think this one shot is a special one is that this one shot is a predecessor to Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man, which are both masterpieces, and this one shot kind of gives us a little bit of insight about the future of Chainsaw Man Part 2, about what to expect from it, what to expect from the characters dynamic, what to expect from the themes, what to expect from the relationship of Denji and Nayuta. So the story of this one shot is about a young girl named Nayuta and her older brother Kenji, Kenji being an ancestor to Denji. This one shot kind of gives us more information about the author's mindset and his individuality, his thought process that goes into his artwork. Upon what I have already said about why you should read this story, a quick synopsis about this one shot might sound like this. We follow the story of two characters, Kenji and Nayuta. They both live in a world in which a certain prophecy is being believed, and that prophecy says that there is a child that will be born, and that child will bring about the destruction of the world. So basically a lot of people believe in that story, and Nayuta is kind of born in this world with horns, making her to be flagged as the child of the prophecy. The people want her dead. They want to get rid of her because she is dangerous. Though she haven't done anything yet, she might destroy the world one day or another. At the beginning of the story, she is kind of haunted, and this leads to the death of their father, leaving her alone with Kenji. Kenji can't afford to go to school, so he tries to get this job to be able to take care of his small sister Nayuta. Nayuta is a very kind girl, but she is born with a lot of misery, and she has this problem. She can't speak properly. She can't express herself in a really meaningful way. Everything she says, every word that comes out of her mouth is kind of related to death and destruction. Adding to that, she has this habit of killing animals, and in a very nasty way, that is, from the smaller ones like rabbits to even more bigger animals like cattle. And this is what creates the turning point of the series, because the neighbors whose cattle have been killed ask Kenji to hand his sister Nayuta over so that they can get rid of her. And that's when Kenji decides to take responsibility, and he starts working for free to kind of repay back the damage his sister caused. And at the same time, she tries hard to continue bringing back food for her to eat because she's hungry all the time, making Kenji to even pass down his own food to her. One day, Kenji comes back really beat up, not at the door of death, but pretty much hurt enough to piss off Nayuta. Though she's still a little kid that doesn't show her emotions too often, she has this wrath on the people that wants her dead. So she spawns these giant swords, which is her abilities, and she suddenly starts to destroy every single thing around her. As she's kind of going on rampage, you might think that a lot of innocents are being killed, but she's kind of really cautious and her attacks are really calculated, making no innocents to be touched during her attack. Even the army gets involved trying to kill her, but she is unstoppable, and this is when Kenji comes on the scene, questioning himself on how to be that big brother, that figure that can really support her. Because of this uncomprehensive and ambiguous relationship they have been building up due to the lack of communication and understanding between them, Kenji have never known the true feelings of his sister, but he takes his courage on her and approaches her and slaps her in front of everyone, and this snaps her out of that anger. And for the first time throughout the whole story, we have an aperture of her emotions, of her feelings. This is where the story pretty much ends, with Kenji taking her away, promising to raise her well and take more care of her. So I think Fujimoto sensei is going to take this one shot and use it as the very core of the part 2 of Chainsaw Man, as the stepping stone to the new story he wants to create, especially to kind of portray the relationship between Denji and Nayuta. You see, at the end of the manga, we have Denji, who is himself being assigned to take care of Nayuta, which is the new control devil. Even though Denji is pretty much one to be taken care of, he accepts this responsibility, which is kind of a challenge for him, showing that he is still a human even though he was kind of used and maltreated throughout his life, and that he is willing to help. So that's basically it about what I think the Chainsaw Man manga part 2 might be about. I kind of really want to know which of you guys read this one shot manga already, or if you are planning in doing so, make sure to tell me in the comments down below. And I also want to know what you guys think the Chainsaw Man manga part 2 might be, what changes the author will bring in this second part. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. This is how I know you guys like what I'm doing. New video every 3 days. As always, this is Mr. Matt. Don't get cooked and stay off the hook. Peace.